One night, sometime after midnight, my friend felt something hitting the back of his neck while studying at his desk. So he turned to look over his shoulder but saw nothing. He went back to his book but felt the hitting again. This continued to happen every night at the same time at the same place. It affected his sleep. One day, he bumped into an old janitor working at the university for years. Seeing him so tired, the janitor jokingly asked, "Didn't sleep last night?" So the student told the old man about the hitting he felt in his room. The old janitor told the student to move out of that room immediately, refusing to explain when the student asked him why. Years ago, a girl hanged herself in that room sometime after midnight. The hitting that the student felt was quite possibly the girl's feet hitting the back of his neck because her body swung slightly when she committed suicide. Whenever I closed the lights and went to bed, I'd always hear voices like someone wearing my slippers and walking into my room. One day while studying at night, I heard someone tapping a nail inside the wall. It was coming from the roof. I thought maybe some work was going on the terrace. The loudness of the sound was continuously increasing and I got disturbed and went to the rooftop to request them to please reduce the noises they were making. When I went there, I saw no one and maybe the workers had gone. Back to my room. I sat on the chair to study and the noises began again. One night when Mom was with me in the hostel due to my sickness, I had to go to hospital and wasted a lot of time. So to compensate, I studied until 12:30 at night. I and my mom slept after 1 a.m. After 15 minutes of going to bed, we heard horrible shrieks from outside as if someone crying in pain. It was like someone was tortured or badly injured. They continued all night, but to my horror, no one on my floor had heard anything like it. My hostel's warden used to live with us with his family. One night, his 6-year-old went to bed with a slight fever, but passed away the next morning. After her funeral, my roommate and I decided to look after their pet cat. So we went to their house and my friend decided to look in their bedroom. She was going behind the curtains when she felt something brushing her foot. She thought that the cat might be around, and so she started calling her name, which is when she felt like someone slapped her in the foot. She looked around and there was nothing. After half an hour of searching, we gave up and locked the room. When we told the warden about what happened, he went pale and sank to his knees crying. He told us that he used to play hide and seek with his daughter, and she used to hide behind the curtains. Whenever he was close to her, she would grab his ankles, slap, and pinch them. I was new to the boarding school, and I was also new to the concept of common toilets. One night, I woke up with the urgent need to pee. Still half asleep, I rushed to the toilet, only to see my grandmom sitting on the toilet without locking the door. I immediately apologized and closed the door. I leaned against the opposite wall holding my pee, only to realize that I wasn't at home, and my granny had passed away 6 months ago. Was a very bright student who did a lot of scientific research and often worked late at Zabriskie. His teacher was very pleased with his work and paid a lot of attention to him. This also made the student happy, until he realized that she was stealing his work and publishing it as his own. One night, the master visited him while he was working. He confronted him with the knowledge of his theft. He panicked and stabbed her to death, leaving the knife embedded in her lifeless body. To this day, from time to time, students studying late at Zabriskie may be accosted by a student who asks, "Would you please pull this knife out of my back?" During one particularly snowy, cold, and harsh winter, the Wells College campus was hit by a terrible epidemic of influenza. A large number of the students fell ill, and the weather prevented them from leaving campus. A small hospital was set up on the 4th floor of the college's main building, now a dormitory. The 6 students were quarantined and several kind nurses stood watch over them, doing everything possible to ease their suffering. Unfortunately, many of the students died, and there was no place to store their bodies in the dead of winter. A room on the same floor was made into a temporary morgue, and the bodies were kept there until the families could make funeral arrangements. The door to this room was painted red so that no one would accidentally wander into their resting place. After the epidemic, the door was repainted, and the fourth floor was made habitable again. Within a few weeks, the red paint bled through the other color as a testimonial to what had happened to the women who had died. Because the main building has been redecorated since this ghostly happening, no one knows which fourth-floor room served as the morgue. The location, however, is the subject of great speculation. Many brave first-year students have been known to wander the fourth floor looking for signs of red paint.